Welcome to this month's webinar. I'm Aaron Hill from Sawtooth Software. Today's webinar is Discover, the new survey platform from Sawtooth Software. And our presenter is Justin Lester. Justin is the Vice President of Products at Sawtooth Software, and he's been with us for more than 20 years. Because we have people from all over the world gathering here today, we're going to give everybody a couple seconds to get into the workshop. And while we wait for them to join us, we have a couple announcements. So during the webinar, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of the window, and we just ask you to use that to ask your questions. We have several moderators here that will hopefully be able to answer your questions as we're going along. We'll also be sending out a link to the recording and a copy of the slides for everyone when we're done. So use the Q&A window to ask your questions. We'll get to them either during the workshop or after the workshop, and then we'll send you a copy of everything after we're done here today. Usually within 24 hours, they'll also be available on the same website where you signed up to attend today's session. So you can go up to sawtoothsoftware.com/resources and go to events and get to the webinars area. Next, I'd like to make everyone aware of three pretty amazing events that are either coming up or just happened. So a couple of weeks ago in Barcelona, Spain, Sawtooth Software hosted the very first Analytics and Insights Summit. And I think it's safe to say that the summit was extremely successful. We had a lot of people there and a lot of great feedback about how valuable the presentations were. If you happened to accidentally miss the Analytics and Insights Summit, please don't despair. There's good news. There's an on-demand option where you can watch these. We had presentations from organizations such as LinkedIn, Universal Studios, GFK, Skim, and Procter & Gamble, among others. And you can go up and watch these presentations. Now we have them available up online. This is an on-demand option, and you can access all the conference talks and watch them at your own leisure. On the Sawtooth Software website, you go to sawtoothsoftware.com, go to resources, then conferences, and you can access the presentations there. Next one is an upcoming virtual workshop. This one will focus on Discover and choice modeling. So it'll take you through a little bit of how to use Discover, sort of like what you're going to see today. But then we're going to focus on choice modeling and teach you about the methods and how they work within Discover. It's a virtual workshop that happens June 19th through 23rd, so half days each of those days. And it's tailored to the Asia Pacific time zones. So it'll be evening time here in the US when we're presenting it. But that should be Monday through Friday business time in Asia and Australia. The workshop will go into great detail on how to set up choice experiments and run conjoint analysis in MaxDiff on the Discover platform. You can also find this on sawtoothsoftware.com/resources and workshops. Third one, if you're looking for something more hands-on and a little bit more advanced, we are having an on-location workshop in July in beautiful, scenic Park City, Utah. And this is a perfect opportunity to mix business with pleasure. There will be a lot of new users there, a lot of existing users. Again, it's most of it's geared more towards advanced people. There will be a 2-day choice modeling workshop for beginners, but then there's like a 2-day in-depth market simulators workshop. There's a turbo choice modeling where we bring the latest, greatest thoughts on choice modeling from the industry and bring them all together. And then there'll be a workshop on menu-based choice as well. So that's available. Again, you can get to it on our website. Go to resources, workshops. Again, that'll be in Park City, Utah, July 17th through the 20th. So again, in that area, you can keep tabs on other events coming up. So those are just the next two that are available. We're putting up more over the next couple of weeks. So with all these announcements taken out of the way, we should have all the participants in that are going to come, hopefully. And so with that, Justin, I turn the time over to you.
Okay, hello, everyone. I'm in a room by myself talking to a computer. I wish you were in front of me. In fact, I would love to talk with each of you individually, but sadly, that's not the case. But super excited today to talk about Discover. So yeah, I'm the Vice President of Product here at Sawtooth and work on a really great team that's developing Discover. let's just talk about the agenda for today. We have about an hour, and we're going to first talk about our vision for Discover, what it is, what we're building, what we built, and what we hope to build. Gonna then spend a lot of time kind of giving you a tour of Discover, going through all the features that we have there now and what you can do with it. We're then going to talk about the roadmap. As a product manager, one thing I do is kind of look out into the future and able to tell the team what we should do next. I'm also anxiously engaged in speaking with customers, making sure we're building the right thing. And then I'm excited for this live research demo, okay? What I'd like to do is create a survey from scratch, field it, and look at the results all within this webinar. So I'm hoping to do that within 5 to 7 minutes. And then at the end, we're going to have some questions and feedback. So I am, again, very interested in what you think. So feel free to make notes of things that you'd like to see changed or improved about Discover as we go through it. And then would love to have you email me those or bring them up in the discussion towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so let's just talk about our vision for Discover. We're building something that is going to be very easy to use and friendly, but also powerful. And it's all web-based, so you can run it on your Mac or your PC or wherever, at home, at work, that kind of thing. It's meant to be extremely powerful, right? It will be one of our most powerful tools when we're finished, and have great vision for it to be again both friendly to use and powerful. Security is from the ground up. We've started over from scratch. We've been in business a long time, but this is a new start for us, and we're starting over from scratch with security in mind as well. One of our goals is that it be modern and beautiful. It will eventually be very customizable. You'll be able to do anything with Discover. We want it to be zippy fast, especially for the respondent taking experience. Should be a pleasurable experience taking a survey. Discover is scalable and mobile friendly. So grandiose vision here, and we are clipping right along. You'll see the progress we've made. So now we're going to jump into the tour of Discover, jump out of the slide presentation. Anyone out there can go to discover.sawtoothsoftware.com. You don't need to do that now, but after the webinar or when you're interested, at any time you can go to discover.sawtoothsoftware.com and jump into Discover. We offer a free version, so you can begin to use it. The only limitation on the free version is that you only can collect up to 50 respondent data records. But other than that, you can have a full experience checking out Discover. So I just signed in, and here you can see a list of surveys that I have, a big new survey button. On the right-hand side, we're showing you what we've released recently. You can see a help button up here, the top right. We are trying to update and release new features every 2 weeks. So we're really following agile software development principles, listening to customers, and trying to iterate quickly. So the first thing I'd like to do is just show you how to create a very simple survey from beginning to end, just so you can kind of orient yourself with Discover. So I'm going to click New Survey. And I'm going to name it, I don't know, color survey. And then I'm going to click Add. And I'm going to choose a single select. And the typical, what is your favorite color? We always do this. Red, green, blue, orange. So you can see that you can create the survey here on the left. And then on the right-hand side, it's showing you real-time a preview of what your survey will look like. There's already an ending point in here that says, thank you for taking the survey. So for my very, very simple survey, I'm done, and I'm going to publish it. And then share it. I'm going to copy the link, open up a new tab, and paste in the link. This is a link I could send out to everyone who I want to take my survey, and they will see this. What is your favorite color? They might choose orange and click next, and they're done. So then back in Discover, right, I can go to this data tab, and I can see how many people completed my survey. There's one. And I can go into analysis. So one person filled out the survey and they selected orange. So hopefully that's just kind of a quick overview, big picture tour of how to create a survey, a simple survey in Discover. Okay, so I'd like to go in next to something called MaxDiff. Maybe many of you already know what that is. I'll just do a brief introduction of what MaxDiff is. Then I'm going to talk about conjoint analysis and so on. So I'm going to jump out here and click into one of my sample surveys. I have an ice cream sample survey about MaxDiff. MaxDiff is a really great way to find out the true preference order of a bunch of items. We like to do ice cream just because it's maybe universally understood. So I have this long list of ice cream flavors like cherry, chocolate, all the way through to vanilla. And I want to find out what people truly prefer, what flavors are truly their favorite flavors and which flavors they don't care for. MaxDiff is really great at doing this. And we get great information from doing a MaxDiff survey with respondents. MaxDiff will grab, say, 5 items at a time and show those to respondents and ask them to select the one they like the best and the one that is, worse for them, that they do not like. So that's a simple, easy task for them. And we then scramble things around and ask another question. Which of these 5 do you like and dislike? Which of these 5? And in the end, we get great information. I'll show you that in a second. So all that's required to create a MaxDiff survey is actually to enter in the items. You can paste these in or type them in. Also, if you see next to each item, you'll see a pencil icon. If you click on that, there's some additional formatting options, including the ability to bring in an image. So I'll just show you how to do that. I'm going to upload an image of some ice cream. So just to be clear, right, you can, this doesn't have to be text. It can be a beautiful picture of some delicious ice cream. Okay, so yeah, all that's required is you paste them in and you then can click publish and send this survey out to respondents. So this is actually a real survey that we fielded. You can see here we have 298 completes. And let's just take a brief look at the results of this MaxDiff, what type of analysis we provide. You can see here that chocolate is actually the winner. And, at the top is the most preferred item. And towards the bottom, you see the least preferred green tea. What's great about MaxDiff is we not only know, what the most preferred item is, but we know by how much. You can see here, there's a big drop off between chocolate and vanilla. But if you look at Moose Tracks and Rocky Road, it's about the same. I mean, Moose Track wins, but Rocky Road is a close follower. So, for example, if Rocky Road was less expensive to produce, we might consider making Rocky Road first because it's almost as good as Moose Tracks. And this is the kind of rich information you get from MaxDiff that you don't get from any other method. So here's the scores here. You can segment by different input in the survey, input that you get from the survey or that you pass in. We have a table view here of the analysis. You can turn on this 95% confidence intervals. You can download scores, the individual scores, accounts analysis. You can download what we call design and choices, where it shows exactly what was shown to each respondent and how they selected it. So you can do your own analysis outside Discover. One thing that I jumped over, just come back to really quick, is how easy it is to just paste in the items. We then look at the number of items and come up with the number of questions we think you should ask and the number of items per question that we recommend. If you want to override that, you click on the gear icon and you click on advanced, and there's a possibility here to tweak how many items are shown and how many tasks we're going to show, etc. We also have the ability to turn on something called an anchored question at the end of the survey. And this is where we ask them, of these items below, which ones, we asked you which ones you like the best and which ones are the worst, but would you actually purchase, which ones would you actually purchase if you were looking for ice cream? So that's an optional, more kind of advanced thing you can do at the end of the survey. And if you do so, that allows us to draw this anchor here. So this shows us the flavors they would actually consider purchasing to the right, and to the left, like lavender and green tea, they're not going to purchase those. We also have a turf analysis. This is the ability to kind of do a report, an analysis on which combinations of ice cream flavors you should offer kind of in a package. So let's assume you have an ice cream cart that only has a space for 5 different flavors. Turf is going to say, okay, these are the flavors you should consider putting into your cart that would reach most of your potential customers. Most customers that would come to your ice cream cart would find something in there that they would like. Might not be their favorite, but there's something in there that would make most people happy. And that's what turf analysis does. Okay, so that was a quick kind of tour of how easy it is to put in a MaxDiff exercise and the analysis you get. I'm now going to change gears and talk about conjoint analysis. I'm going to open up a sample survey I have here on cell phones. So if you're not familiar with conjoint analysis, it's an excellent way to study the different features within a product or service and to be able to optimize, to learn which features are most preferred by your customers and how you can tweak and improve your product or build a new product that they will really like. It's excellent. Similar to why I really like MaxDiff, it actually forces respondents to make trade-offs. They can't have everything. We've got to find out what they're willing to trade off and which features they most prefer. So to do that, what happens is we take a product, in this example, it's cell phones, and we break it down into all the features that a cell phone might have. A typical thing we want to study is how important brand is. In this example, we have brand, and we've broken it down, Apple iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, Google Pixel. We're also looking at the different sizes of a phone, so small phones, medium phones, large phones, and breaking down different price points that we could put on the phone. Conjoint analysis is excellent at doing pricing research and learning what people are truly willing to pay. Obviously, people always like to pay the smallest, but if you combine that with other features like brand, size of the phone, and many other things, then you're able to learn what they're willing to trade off, how much more they're willing to pay for certain features, if that makes sense. So in Discover, you simply need to enter in the different, what we call levels. So different features of brand, you see those, size and price. Type them in, paste them in. Again, they can be images. And we, build a survey. And we're able to make, let me just pop open the example here. of what it looks like when you just cruise through really quick. When they see this Conjoint exercise, right? They're presented in this case with 4 different phones, and they're packaged, right, with brand, size, and price. And we're asking the respondents to make this decision. Which one would you buy? And this, of course, is very similar to what happens in the marketplace. They're faced with, fairly complex decisions and trade-offs they have to make between products. So we learn which one they might choose. I will go for the Apple with a least expensive Apple phone. And then we click next, and then everything is scrambled around, moved around, and we're testing all the different features of these different products. And we begin to learn what they truly prefer. Okay, so let's go back to this conjoint analysis question here, right? And you can see here there's a gear icon. So we look at the number of levels and attributes they enter, and we come up with the number of tasks that we think is appropriate, and et cetera. But if you want to tweak that, you can click on the gear icon, and you can click on advanced, and you can override our defaults, right? Slide that on and change the number of tasks or the number of concepts per task. We also have the ability to add in prohibitions. If you never want to show an inexpensive iPhone, you could do that. Different formatting options, and an optional none option, etc. Okay, so once you filled the survey, and this is also a real survey that we fielded, we have 145 completes here. Let's just take a brief look at what the analysis looks like. Okay, so you can see here, the first report here on the summary tab shows the attribute utilities, the preferences for each of these levels or features. So in this study, right, iPhone is much more preferred than the Google Pixel. That's a negative value. iPhone's preferred, and Samsung Galaxy is somewhere in between. We can see that large phones are preferred over small phones. And of course, lower price, more preferred than higher price. At the bottom here, in general, brand and price are more important than the size of the phone. You can toggle this and see the table view. You can segment, you can turn on the confidence intervals, and you can download, similar to MaxDiff, the design and choices and the utilities, etc. The real ta-da of all of this is this market simulator. And this is where, after the survey, after we've learned how people make trade-offs, what things are most important to them, we can then play around with building products and entering in our competitors' products and tweaking the different features of these products and seeing what might happen. What happens if I make a small iPhone at a low price? And then up here above, it will show the, what we're predicting will happen in the market. We predict if you tweak, let's just, lower the price of the iPhone to $350, that your market share will increase. So that is just fantastic to be able to tweak and see how I can build my optimal product or service. We can also, throw in segmentation. There's a table view, etc. Okay, going fast, and I apologize. There's lots to this, but I need to cover all the things that can be done in Discover. So Discover's, main strength is being able to do conjoint analysis and MaxDiff very simply and powerfully. But we realize that many people, many of our users would also like just to do general surveys. So we're working hard at making basic interviewing more powerful. We've done a lot of work, and we have a lot more to do to make it awesome. Really, our vision is to bring it up to the level where you can do all your surveys within Discover. So for example, here is an age question. You can see here, how old are you, etc. You can type these in or paste them. We have the ability to reuse lists. So if you build a list with age and you want to reuse that on a later question, you don't have to type that in again. I'm just going to click on the add button so you can see the different capabilities we have. So you can add select questions, multi-select, we have open ends, grid type questions, constant sum, numeric. And then down here at the bottom, you'll see this MaxDiff and the conjoint that we've already talked about. You can also put in survey endings. So, there's always you're finished, hallelujah, congratulations, thanks for taking the survey type ending spot. But you're probably going to want some other ending spots where people that get disqualified, they're able to go to, etc. Text pages are just explanatory text, filling in, explanations, etc. We have powerful skip logic that is easy as well with drop downs. I'll show you that in a bit, and quota control, and I'll show you that. Okay, so let me show you how you can do something that's very common, and that is being able to pass into the survey a value or a variable through the URL, and then how to pass it out on the other end. So if you want to have a sample provider, right, pass in their IDs over the URL into the survey, or if you want to use a different package, and you're starting the survey in one package, and then you're linking to Discover, and then you want to link back out. Let me just briefly show you how to do that. So there's this variable manager area where you can go, and you can set up these pass-in variables. So this already has one. It's called PID, and you can add as many as you'd like. So it's a unique ID for respondents coming into the survey. You check that box, unique ID. If you do that, then the link becomes kind of like reusable. So you have a unique ID, you click on it, you go halfway through the survey, and if you close your browser and come back tomorrow using the same link, it will take you where you left off. So that's what the unique ID will do for you. Shows you an example of what your URL needs to look like, and where you need to pass in this XXX would be would rotate through all respondents different IDs. So that's how you would pass, and then when you click on share again, it's showing you this extra stuff on the end of the URL, how you would pass that in. Typically, you also want to pass out the ID out of the survey. So here at the end of the survey, in these survey endings, you can have a redirect link. So you type in the link, and at the end, you will see this notation with these curly braces, curly, curly, PID, and then right, curly, curly. This is how you run script, and you're able to recall the PID that's been passed in and put it back on the URL to pass it back out again. Okay, so while we're on the subject of scripting, anywhere within Discover, you can do this, right? You can just type in curly brace, and inside that notation is where you can type in script, and you can see here a script tag there. It's not going to actually execute there until you run the survey, but that's how you do it. So you can do simple, math. This is actually just JavaScript behind the scenes, and is powerful, and will become even more powerful. You'll be able to put in like if statements and while loops, and you can get crazy. Some of that power is there now, and more is to come. So for example, if you wanted to, maybe on the prior screen, you ask them their name, then you can type in get value. And then if the variable is named name, you could show their name back to the screen. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's just briefly look at our help area and click on documentation. We have a beautiful help section that we have been building. You can see here there's scripting area, and I can dive into functions. and it will kind of show me all the different functions and things I can do, get label, get value, etc. Okay, so that's scripting. Again, powerful. It's actually JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, you can do a lot of damage. And it's powerful now, and we'll be adding more power to it. Let's jump back to Discover here. Close some of my open tabs. Okay, so moving on to just briefly show you survey header. So you can click on the Style tab. You can enter in a header, cell phone, survey. Okay. There are settings here where you can modify all the error messages. And I want to spend a little time here on multi-language. So we built from the beginning the ability to do multi-language, multiple languages within the same survey within Discover. So if you have 5 different languages, you can import all the survey text for each language all into one survey, and then only have to field one survey without not having to do one for each of the languages. So typically you would program that up in your native language, mine is English, and then you would click Export Text for Translation. Let me just show you an example of this. So this exports all the survey text, and you can see here there's a column for all the English that was exported. Now, all I need to do is include additional languages in each of these columns and re-import. So I have provided some Spanish text, actually used ChatGPT to translate this for me. And I have a column of Spanish text that I'm going to paste in here. Okay, so at the top, you can see here I said Spanish, and then I have a translation for each of the English items on the left. I have a Spanish option, and I can do that in each column for additional languages. I'm going to save that and now import that same file there. So it said, hey, I noticed that you have a new language called Spanish, and you're going to add that. Okay. And that brings in Spanish into the survey. We require you to tell us kind of what the value behind the scenes for each of these languages will be. I'll just say 1 for English, 2 for Spanish. Once I do that, let's go back to the create. You'll see here there's a new question here at the beginning that's asking them which language they prefer. You can also put this in your survey link variable and be able to ahead of time know which language it should be in and pass it into the survey. And if that happens, then respondents won't see the language question here. So let's just prove that that worked. So if I say I want to have this survey in Spanish, you'll see here that, it's all in Spanish. Looks like I made a quick error there and have something strange there, but you'll see here all in Spanish. For some reason, my survey header is messed up. Okay, but that's the idea. You're able to bring in a different language that easily, and you're then able to manage one survey, not deal with 5 different surveys. Okay, let's look a little bit about kind of these questions here. I have an age question. I can collapse that question to make it smaller. I can collapse all the questions, and I can also move them around if I want to change the order. That's built in, etc. And as I said, we can let's just expand this. Once you enter in a list, you can reuse that list throughout. So here I have a bunch of continents here. I've named it location list. There you go. But we have this list manager where it shows all the lists that we have in the survey, and you can reuse those without having to enter them again. Okay, kind of going fast here, looking at my clock. Let's talk about skip logic. So in this survey, I may wish to, if they are 18 or younger, I want to skip them out to a, sorry, you're too young to take the survey. So that requires me to set up kind of a different ending spot, a place for respondents who are too young. And I'm going to click this survey ending spot is for, people that successfully complete the survey, but I'm going to add another one. I'll just name this disqual. And, say, sorry. Okay. And so that's my alternate ending. So let me click add, and then I'm going to include some skip logic. Okay, if your age is 0 to 18, then I'm going to take you, I want you to go to the disqual, right? So you can enter logic here if this is the case, or you can actually go in here and say, you can include both these age groups. If either one of these is true, then we'll go to disqual. So this is quite powerful and simple, just done with drop downs. You can get more complex with or and logic here. You can also add additional logic statements. So if this doesn't execute, then try this one. So fairly powerful, simple ability to do skip logic. Quota control is similar. Let me show you that. So here, quota control helps to control the number and type of respondents that I want taking my survey. So let's just imagine I would like to have 50 folks who are in the age group 41 to 50 years old. And I don't know, I'll call this guy 50-year-olds, something like that. And then I can add another group. I want also 50 respondents who are, let's see here, looking to have some problems there. From this age group, right? And then able to have quota control here. And then we ask, what happens if a respondent doesn't fit either of these criteria, where should we skip them to? Or if we already have 50 of one group or 50 of both groups, which happens, where do we take the respondents, for over quota? And that can be selected in this dropdown, right? Disqual. Okay, so that's just briefly showing you quota control and skip logic. Let's move now to talk a little bit about the data tab. So we've seen this here where you can see the number of completes, incompletes, disqualifieds. When you get quota control in here, it will kind of start talking about over quota. You'll also see a graph of that once we collect that data. You can click on records here on the left and download your data. This will give you a spreadsheet with all your data in it. You can choose to export labels or values. You can also include to have the question text in your export. Delete all data, just completely deletes all the data in your survey. You might want to do this as you're ready to go live and want to clear out any practice data. We also have a data cleaning option. So if you identify certain data records that need to be cleaned out of your survey, you can upload a list of IDs and we'll remove those. Not permanently, right? That you can always restore them, but we'll basically put them in the recycle bin until you want analysis. You can bring them back if you need to. Let's look at analysis. We've already seen this with the Conjoint and the MaxDiff, but we're building analysis for general questions. So you can see here on age, There's about 40% that were in the 19 to 30-year-old category, et cetera. You can see here that most respondents were from North America, 63%. You can look at what people, open-end, what they typed in for the features they most like, et cetera. Okay, there is a button here for collaboration. Huge, powerful feature that Discover offers is to be able to work on this as a group. And so if you enter in the email address of someone that you'd like to participate in authoring and looking at analysis for your survey, you can enter it here. You can also click the send a copy option where you can generate a link to send out to others. And when they click on the link, a copy of your survey with the data will be given to them. This is excellent for classroom use. If I wanted to get a sample survey out to all my students, I could send them a copy of my survey so that they had their own copy to play with. Okay, well, I'm looking at the clock and need to go fast. So the next thing I'd like to do is do this live research that I promised you at the beginning. Okay, so let's do that. So Aaron, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, Aaron's going to time us to see how long this takes, but we're going to try to create a survey, field it, and look at the data and see how long it takes. And this is a real survey where we're going to get real information that's going to help us improve Discover.
All right.
So I'm going to, yep.
Mark, get set, go.
Okay, so I have written down some text here. We're going to run a MaxDiff with different features that we can consider putting into Discover. So I'm going to click New Survey. And we'll call it Discover Features. I'm going to click on Add. I'm going to choose MaxDiff. And I'm going to paste in, first the question text. And then I'm going to grab these items that we're considering. Okay, 15 different features. Notice I'm saying most and least. So I'm going to change my text here to most and least. Okay. And I'm almost done. I also want to ask users, what type of user are they? So I'm going to add another question, single select, and I'm going to paste in a list here and say, what type of user are you? And then I'll name it user type. Okay. Okay, I'm done creating it. I'm now going to click publish. And then share your survey. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go into Zoom here into the chat, and I'm going to paste the link to the survey. So hopefully, Aaron, you can confirm that everybody can see that link. And I would hope that everyone out there could click on the link and start taking the survey. Aaron, how much time have I spent so far?
Just about 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. But we'll see how long it takes for data collection. That I can't control. But assume that you're all out there filling out this survey. You'll see that you kind of need to go fast here, but it's hard to make these trade-offs. A lot of times we want everything, but MaxDiff is going to force you to make a choice. Okay, it's always kind of scary doing live.
Hey, Justin, I think that your chat only went to the host and panelists instead of to everyone.
How do I change that?
Let me see. I can figure out how to do this.
Okay, let me do something really quick here. I'm gonna pause share.
You could put the link potentially in the Q&A and people can probably get to it from there.
Okay. How do I do that?
There should be a button on the bottom right next to chat for Q&A.
Yeah, I
Does
like
it
to
not?
push them, type answer. Okay, so I'm putting the link, maybe answer live. I'm trying to put it in.
Here, I got it. Okay, down at the bottom of the Q&A, there's several things that say chat is showing it's disabled, and I think we've posted the link in a lot of those.
Okay, seems to have worked. 25 people are taking the survey, so that's cool. Aaron, can you see my screen again?
Yeah.
Great. One person has completed. Congratulations, you are the winner. I should have planned for some music to be playing right now, soothing, exciting music. Hey, 9 people have finished. Cool. I'll give you maybe one more minute. As you're finishing up, let me kind of go over this slide for those of you that have finished. Our current roadmap, which can change, right? In fact, it will change. But our current outlook is the following. We are actually working currently on dynamic lists. So this is, we don't quite know what to call it, but carry forward or piping. This is where respondents can see a list of items and they can be asked, which of these items would you consider? And all the items that they check, only the items that they check will then show up on the next screen. So then you can say, of the items that you would consider, which one is your favorite? It's an extremely powerful feature that we're building, making good progress on, and hope to have something soon to ship. We're also starting work on the back button. So you can back up in a survey. That will be optionally. You can turn that on or off optionally. We're starting to look at crosstabs. We started doing research on that this week. We're then planning on adding a ranking question, adding the ability to test a survey. Right now, you can test a survey by publishing it and testing it, but we want to have a whole separate test feature with different controls where you can skip around and show question names, etc. We also want to get started on importing external data so that you can bring in data from other sources in order to segment on those in the MaxDiff and Conjoint results. CBC simulator, adding interpolation and extrapolation to it is in the plans, putting multiple questions on a page and a lot more. So we have lots of stuff to do and are excited to do it and have a great process in place for getting things done. Okay, so let's jump back here. Time's up. I'm going to refresh the screen. Great, 30 responses. Let's see what you guys think. We're going to run this MaxDiff analysis, running hierarchical bays, and this takes a little bit of time to compute. So we'll let that run. Because of time, I'm going to switch back to my slides, and we'll come back to that. Sorry for skipping around. So yeah, I would really encourage you guys to go out and try Discover. They're at discover.sawtoothsoftware.com. We have this free version, so you can check out everything and even collect data up to 50 respondents. You can play around with there. We have a fantastic teaching version as well. So if you're teaching this at the university, it's free. Each user can collect up to 100 respondents, but that's being used all over the world right now, and we encourage more to check us out. We have a program inside of the teaching area, the academics, where if you get exposed as a student, if you get exposed to Discover at college and try it out, then you're eligible for our College to Career program, which means students can get Discover for free for the first year after college, and up to 4 of their colleagues can also get it for free at their new job. For the full professional version, it's around $4,500 per year, and you can talk to our sales team and see what they can do for you. Okay, so let's see what the results are. Wow, this group would really love to have adaptive choice-based conjoint in Discover. But you can see here that it's almost tied with the ability to test a survey. We move on down the list, alternative specific designs. Wow, convenient sample integration is fairly high. Being able to send out email invitations, etc. Being able to close the survey came in kind of dead last, even though I've heard various customers really need that. So my guess is everybody wants all the features, but Discover forces you to make a trade-off, which is very powerful. Okay, last thing I want to say is we have a Discover user panel where occasionally we send out emails asking for feedback, and we would love to have you join our panel, and so that we can have you help us build Discover. And you can email me, justin@sawtoothsoftware.com, to be added to the panel. Okay, love to talk to people. So anybody that wants to reach out, happy to talk with you. And with that, let's go into questions. Aaron, anybody out there?
Yeah, so we have some questions about how Discover handles accessibility, like visually impaired and stuff.
Yeah, we're really good at doing that for the respondent experience, taking the surveys. We have done some work on the authoring experience, but probably need to improve there. So I think fairly good on authoring, but excellent on data collection. Accessibility is definitely one of our goals.
Okay. And this may be more a Brian question. Can you comment on how we implemented HB, what controls we have currently?
Sure.
Than what's in Lighthouse Studio, those types of things.
Yeah, it's the same algorithm as Lighthouse Studio. It runs on our servers rather than yours, rather than your computer. At this point, we've implemented the plain vanilla hierarchical bays with no covariates yet, no ability to specify interaction effects yet, or to constrain utilities. But all those kinds of features, interaction effects, constraining utilities, specifying linear terms, covariates, all of that stuff we want to get in there because we want it to be very powerful for a demanding statistical user.
Okay, thanks. Justin, a attendee wants to know how you guys have made mobile Discover more mobile friendly. So you stated up front that that was one of the goals. Can you tell us what we've done so far to make it more mobile friendly?
Again, the respondent experience, we've worked hard to make that very mobile friendly from the ground up. Again, we started over with Discover. It's brand new from scratch. One example of mobile friendly, these conjoint tasks are really quite wide, and generally folks don't like wide things on their cell phones. And so, for example, there, if it's on mobile, we stack the response options so that it's more of a vertical view than horizontal. But we test and we make sure, especially the respondent experience, is mobile friendly. The authoring experience, we have a lot of work to do. We have not made that a goal as of yet to allow you to program your entire survey on your phone. But we will be doing work in that area to make that a better experience, especially for viewing the results of your survey on your phone.
Okay.
As another quick comment there, just from an engineering perspective, we're building Discover in a mobile first way for data collection, right? Where Lighthouse Studio was originally built as a desktop product, and then, mobile data collection became a thing over the course of its lifetime. So there's a lot of things in Lighthouse Studio where we've gone back to try and work mobile into the software, where Discover is built to be mobile friendly first, which makes the general process of just building the software to work well on mobile devices far simpler and far more fluid.
Yeah, thanks, Lance.
Awesome. Okay, so I think that is about all the time we have. So thank you, Justin, for the presentation. Great job. Also, thanks to Brian Orm and Lance for hanging on and helping out answering questions. If you still have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us here at Sawtooth Software. You can write to Justin at the address on the screen, or if you don't know who to write to, just write to support@sawtoothsoftware.com, and they'll make sure it gets to the right channel. Before we close, I want to encourage you to go to our website, sawtoothsoftware.com, and go to resources and just check out all the great content there for you. There's years and years of proceedings from our conferences and technical papers and things. So there's a lot of learning resources for you. You can access the Analytics and Insights Summit conference talks, as I said at the beginning. Again, just a reminder that we've got 2 workshops coming up. One's a virtual Discover workshop that's geared towards folks in Asia and Australia from June 19th through the 23rd. So we'll be going into more detail about how to set up what you've seen today. And then there's an in-person opportunity, learning event in Park City, Utah in July 17th through the 20th, where we will have 4 different classes. There will be one that's kind of a workshop geared towards Lighthouse Studio, conjoint analysis, but then also there's going to be a 2-day class on market simulators, a 2-day event that we're calling Turbo Choice Modeling that brings together a bunch of experts and practitioners, and they go over different things they've tried to expand your ability to handle more complex projects. There's also a menu-based conjoint class. So it's a great opportunity to get in and learn more of the advanced things that we offer here at Sawtooth Software. With that, thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our future webinars.